So, um,
Awesome.
one of the things I talked about, which I want to mention again, is this concept of co-regulation. That we have this misconception sometimes that we want to be self-regulating, and that's a beautiful thing. Being able to regulate our emotional states, being able to regulate our physical states. Um, we work best when we work with co-regulation. So we're supposed to be in community with other people, and Zoom has its own way of co-regulating, right? So thankfully we still can see each other, hear each other, things like that. But there's of course something even more special about being in person. And co-regulation has a few different aspects to it. First of all, one of the things I think about a lot is that we have a responsibility. When we become aware and cultivate a sense of well-being within us, it is a gift we can give other people. We can co-regulate other people just as much as other people can co-regulate with us. So when we're aware of that, it's really a deep responsibility that we have toward the people that we live with, toward the people that we love, even strangers. We have the capacity to have an influence over positively if we are aware of how we are moving our energy and being in our energy. So this isn't to say don't be authentic when you feel like crap. I mean, it's like it's okay to not be well, but to just be aware that your mood really does affect other people. And this can be a really beautiful thing because we have capacity to support other people very unconsciously. Yesterday, I talked a little bit about mirror neurons, which are all throughout the brain. There's lots of locations for mirror neurons, and if you haven't heard of them before, it's a part of our nervous system. They're neurons that help us to mimic and learn by somatic replication, not replication, but like when we copy what somebody else is doing. This is a lot of how we learn, but it's also how we co-regulate. So think about the times when you have been sitting with somebody that you're talking with in an emotional conversation, and they have their head tilted, and next thing you know your head is tilted, or your body positions kind of mirror each other. Your tone of voice mirrors each other. So we have, these are the mirror neurons in our body that are unconsciously patterning and mimicking each other to cultivate a sense of empathy and support. It's a beautiful thing. It's not only one of the ways in which we learn by copying, but also it's a way that we support one another. So yoga has much to offer in this regard. When we learn how to breathe well, we learn how to help somebody else breathe well. So much of our breathing is unconscious, and we learn to breathe very unconsciously by the people that took care of us when we were very young. So everybody knows the feeling of walking into a room and there's somebody very anxious, and if you are calm and your breath is calm, you can help calm that person down just simply by being calm yourself and by breathing in a regulated way. So this is what I mean by we have a responsibility and an opportunity to support others just by simply being aware of our energy and being aware of our grounding and being aware of our breath. So the other thing that I think kind of can mess with our ability to regulate ourselves is kind of losing sight of the rhythm of the left and right brain hemisphere balance. So the left side of the brain is very much about processing and organizing and kind of systems thinking, which we very much need. And then the right side of the brain is very much in the present moment, kind of feeling into the experience you're having. And the left hemisphere tends to be very high. We tend to be in that analytical systems thinking for much of the day. And we take less time to kind of stimulate the right side of our brain. And when we have that imbalance, that we often can't regulate very well. So one of the internal things that we can do for ourselves is to find that left right hemisphere balance in our brain and in our body. Working in your yoga practice to balance the hemispheres of the body will help you balance the hemispheres of the brain. And in that way, when we come into balance, this is just yet another gift we can give others of a state of grace where we're calm and grounded and in harmony in our brain. So I hope your yoga practice inspires you. I hope you've noticed ways in which your practice over time gives you a little bank to lean on when you are either needing to self-regulate or being in co-regulation with other people. So on that note, let's practice. Okay, so let's sit up straight and tall and know that something as simple as breathing is such a gift that we can give ourselves and others. So let's start there. Let's just notice the way we're breathing. Come into finding a sense of ease. Let the shoulders relax. Feel into the state of your body. Are you calm? Are you anxious? Are you tired? Are you energized? Are you present or scattered? Do you have discomfort in the mind or body, or are you at ease? Just start noticing, become aware of how you are. And notice that the rhythm of your breathing, the pace, the texture of your breath, are all these things kind of matching your state of mind and body. So maybe if you're feeling anxious today, your breath is high and tight. Maybe if you're feeling sleepy, you're a little slumped. Just notice how your emotional and physical states dance with each other. Drop into the grounding of your pelvis. Feel into the rise of your spine in a gentle, expansive way. Feel the collarbones expand open, the shoulder blades drop down. And as you become open, feel into the breath again. Is your diaphragm working well today, or is it a little tight? Can you allow some ease? Can you allow the belly to release? Can you feel the diaphragm move down and wide, both down and wide? Can you let the lungs and the ribs feel that impact of the diaphragm's movement? Enjoy the feeling that the lungs suddenly have less pressure when your diaphragm drops. This beautiful exchange where air just gently comes in. And the same when the diaphragm returns. The bandha of your diaphragm, the bind that we can do in pranayama is called Uddiyana bandha, that diaphragm lock. And Uddiyana means to fly up. So when we control the diaphragm, we can allow it to draw in and up, that flying up. So try to have less sense of control, but just experience that capacity of the diaphragm to drop down and wide, and then effortlessly, seemingly, to draw in and up, to fly up. Diaphragm is such a cool muscle. It's active every moment of our lives. Most of our muscles get to have a rest in a 24-hour period when we sleep, but they're not the diaphragm. So let's have deep gratitude for this ever working muscle. Gratitude for the way our nervous system can take care of the diaphragm without us having to pay attention. And also deep gratitude that we can become aware, that it both can be unconscious and conscious, the way our breath is. Move into the third eye now and feel the centering. Let your eyes gaze upon your third eye without tension, so don't feel cross-eyed. Just a sense of centering into the brain. Maybe have the tongue behind the teeth at the roof of the mouth. Gentle, soft tongue. Feel this centering quality of the left and right hemispheres. Let's place our hands in a mudra of centering as well, palms together. As you breathe, feel your ribs expand left and right evenly, that your whole body, your energy can broaden away from midline and return to midline. Offer an intention. Maybe it has something to do with breathing or regulating yourself or others, centering into the hemispheres, whatever kind of touches you, offer an intention. And then let's release the hands. Come onto your back. So find your way. Stretch down onto your back. I'm just messing with the light. Hold on. Breathe deeply. Stretch your arms. Lengthen your arms overhead. Feel that sense of extension. Stretch right side, stretch left side. Wake up yourself. Breathing well. All right. And then relax your arms and bring your knees into your chest. And rock a little bit. Sway from side to side. Feel into, that sense of side rocking. Can you let your head swish? Feel your brain kind of slosh around in your skull as you go left and right. Let everything be easy. And then finding a sense of symmetry. We're not symmetrical on left and right, but find it as best as you can. Let's open the knees away from the midline and swing them back in toward the midline. And it can be semicircles or circles, whatever feels right. If you are circling, go the other direction. And then stretch your limbs out to a starfish. Once again, feeling into that state of symmetry. Reach into your fingers and your toes, wiggle them around. Maybe roll your wrists, maybe roll your ankles. Feel your toes and fingers stretch and become free. And then exhale, knees in, chest up, head in. Let's move one more time. Expand your body open. Exhale, close things up. And release your head back down. Keep your right knee in, left leg long on the floor. I'm going to do a little bit of breath work today, but also a little bit of cross hemisphere work in the body to seek that balance of the brain. Feel a good squeeze. And then let's switch sides. Left knee in, right leg long on the floor. Feel into your toes. See what kind of movement you want to give to your body. And then release. One more time, stretching out into a starfish. Exhale, knees in. All right, put your feet down onto the ground for a moment. And let's just find your breath. We did this yesterday. I'm just going to repeat it so you kind of feel into the balance of your transverse abdominis and your diaphragm kind of harmonizing together so that you can feel stability on your exhales, but also feel that your diaphragm can be easily mobile, that you can switch directions from that flying up to the flying down, and sometimes toning the diaphragm and toning the transverse abdominis gives you a little more access to that. So with your feet on the ground, let's take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, make the sound PSST. And just feel, it's so subtle, it's not like we're lifting weights with our transverse abdominis, that deep corset muscle in our belly, but it tones and wakes things up. So inhaling normally, Exhaling. This often encourages the lower fibers of your TA to fire. One more time. And the next sound we're going to make is shh. So inhale. And then SHH. Feel into the middle fibers. If you want to put a block between your thighs, you can. Stay grounded through your feet. Relax your neck and shoulders. Breathing in, and as you exhale, one more time. Rebound, let the diaphragm release. Last sound is grr, G-R-R, grr. Grr. You might notice that all three of these sounds really do activate different parts of our transverse abdominis, that deep core stabilizing muscle that wraps around us like a corset. And the TA and the diaphragm work, in harmony together. They are very much synchronized. So allow the diaphragm to follow. And the last sound we're going to make is a whoo breath. So you can actually say whoo, or you can just make the wind of like a wind blowing whoo. You decide. Nice, easy inhale. Let your diaphragm release. And as you exhale, whoo, whoo breath. Feel your core stabilize. Can you feel the shrinky dink? Wrap your corset on your exhales. Inhale to release. Let the diaphragm go. See if you can find that quick rebound from engagement of the TA to release of the diaphragm on the inhale and the exhale. All right, stretch your legs, stretch your arms. One more time, extend. Exhale, knees into your chest. Chin up and roll over onto your side. Come up onto your hands and your knees and find your way onto all fours. All right, so begin some cat-cow movements. So it's so beautiful to move your spine. Be free. Let your body tell you what to do instead of your mind. So as you go into flexion and extension, can you feel the full ripple up your spine? And feel free at any point to change that movement pattern around to include some side bending, like swishing of your tail, or some rolling circles in your shoulders, neck, or pelvis. So just let freedom happen and marvel at the beautiful articulations that the spine is capable of. And then let's push the floor away, round the back a little bit. Breathe into the back of the body. And then relax the spine. Stretch back towards child's pose. Take your hips toward your heels and walk the hands actively forward. Feel the beginning of stretching those side bodies. Lengthen not just through your shoulder joints, but get this to be in your ribs. Walk the hands over to the left and find that sense of awakening in the side of your body. So feel the connection from your fingers through your wrist, your forearm, your elbow, your upper arm, your triceps, your shoulder, your rib cage, into the big breath in the ribs here. Feel it all the way down to the pelvis. Relax your neck. All right, walk the hands over to the other side. Can you feel the concert of muscles that support the diaphragm? These intercostal muscles that help flare and open and then close the ribs as we breathe in and out. The sense of the upper traps and the muscles around your neck that can help facilitate some deeper breathing. Often we rely on these muscles in our neck and shoulders to do our breathing if our diaphragm gets a little lazy. So let's be conscious to not originate our breath from there. They're the back seat drivers, not the front seat drivers. Come back to center. Okay, breathe your way here. Let's slide forward. Take your forearms out on the ground and turn your hands out on an angle. Having a cobra pose like this will help you stimulate some muscles in the back of your rib cage that support your breath as well, your serratus posterior muscles. So find the sense of the back edge of your rib cage. Can you feel some effort as you lift your heart? Notice your breath. Try not to buckle right at the rib cage. Extend the legs, extend the spine, soften the neck. And then lie down on your belly. Feel your diaphragm. Can you feel it move and breathe? Can you feel the back body expand on the breath? And then come up onto all fours. Have a moment to move your spine around to loosen things up. You can sway your hips. You can do whatever feels nice. All right, and then find a cat-cow. We'll start with some cross hemisphere work. Left leg straight back behind you, right arm out in front of you. Hang out here for a moment. See what it feels like to hug into the midline, to stabilize the front and the back of your body, to feel your core help you here. And that transverse abdominis kind of wraps around. See if you want to make a pst, sh, grr, or who breath on your exhales here. You can try those sounds anytime you want in your practice on your exhales to help you feel into that TA. All right, let's go ahead and place your hand and knee back down onto the ground. Second side. Feel that cross hemisphere work with one arm and the opposite leg doing some work. Relax your neck. Find that centering, that sense of stability in your core, but also the centering in the third eye. Maybe touch the tongue again to the back of the teeth. How's your breath? Can you rebound the diaphragm and let breath in? All right, let's go ahead and release that hand down. Curl the toes under and find your way into a dog pose. Stretch and lengthen the spine. Feel free to pedal. Move your feet if you want, dropping one heel, bending the opposite knee. Notice what the breath feels like when you're upside down. Relax your head and your neck. See what the diaphragm movement naturally feels like here. Can you sense that your ribs go left, right, out, away from the midline? Can you feel that sense that breathing can help you regulate the mind? That the hemispheres of the brain can be balanced just by the simple act of feeling the expansion away from the midline and seeking the center line on your exhale. Third eye, tongue behind teeth. And then walk your feet forward and come into Uttanasana. Fold, shake if you want. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Push off your feet. Rise all the way up. Bring your arms to the sky. Finding the breath. Opening the heart. Lean back if it feels good. Feel your chest broad and open. Exhale and bring your forearms to touch. Tuck your chin. Rise up again. Arms to the sky. Exhale. Fold forward. Bend your knees. Find your breath. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Start to feel into the rhythm of your breathing. Take your right foot back behind you, lunge. Starting to awaken the balance in your body, the movement in your body. Straighten your front leg, maybe on your exhales, tuck your chin, bend your knee, maybe on the inhales, open the chest broad. Back and forth, feel your breath. Try not to become too rigid. Try to keep the flow, that the diaphragm is mobile, that it's strong, stable, but also very easeful and mobile. All right, find your way to a lunge now. Rise up, bring your arms up or out, wherever you want to be. Breathe well. Feel that expansion left and right in your ribs. Feel the diaphragm drop down and wide and fly back up. And let's take some cross hemisphere work. Twist to the right. Drop your shoulders down. Finding the breath. Hug into the midline with your legs. Stabilize. And then rise back up. Hands down onto the ground. Back foot comes forward. Fold. Relax your neck. Feel the breath. Halfway lift. Exhale and release. Back down. Stay inside the breath. Left foot forward. Right foot comes back. Third eye. Back of the teeth with your tongue. If that feels centering to you, let's start moving on the breath. Exhale. Straighten your leg a little bit. Tuck the chin. Inhale to bend the knee a little bit and open across your collarbones and chest. Stay in the rhythm of your breathing. Flow the movement with your breath. Notice, how is your breathing? Are you struggling with it? Is it something that's coming easy to you? Find a lunge. Ground your feet before you come up, root, and then rise up, bring the arms anywhere they want to be. Open your heart, try not to buckle in the back, see if you can keep the back body long. Stabilize through your legs, ground yourself. Relax your neck and shoulders, try not to let them lift the breath. When you're ready, twist to the side. Come into the lunge. Hug to the midline, relax the shoulders. Even though your legs are doing different things, your arms, you're twisting, you're kind of all over the map in your orientation. Where is your center? Find the breath as the center. Okay, come back up. And release the hands down, dog pose. Once again, third eye, tongue behind teeth. Feel into that symmetry. Balance the hemispheres. Feel the expansion of your rib cage. Come forward into a plank. Hold yourself steady. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. Maybe a pst or a sh or a gur or a hu. Feel into that transverse abdominis that stabilizes you here. An imaginary block between your legs, perhaps. All right, put your knees down. Come all the way to the floor. This time, a regular cobra pose. Open the chest up broad. Exhale. Melt back down. Take your arms out in front of you or behind you if your shoulders aren't happy with this movement. Cross hemisphere work. Right arm, left leg. Lifting. Exhale. Lowering. Opposite side. Left arm, right leg. Breathe. Feel your diaphragm. One more time each side. Come back up. Find your way. Maybe you swish. Maybe your spine needs to move. Maybe you're still. Breathing well. Back to dog pose as you're ready. Deep inhale. Long exhale. Walk your feet forward. Come into Uttanasana. Halfway lift. Feel that symmetry of your breath. Exhale. Melt back down. Push off your feet. Rise up again. Trace down through the midline. Stand on your right foot. Lift your left knee up in the air. And don't worry, I have a little bit of a sprained ankle that I'm still nursing. So my balance feels a little off. Maybe yours does too. Don't worry. It's not about the balance. It's about the presence. Reach your arms out. Find the breath. Twist to the left. Take your right thigh bone back. Reach up through your crown. Still find the breath as your center. Arms back up in the air. Place that knee or foot down onto the ground. Pause here for a moment before we do the second side. Feel the diaphragms of your body release. So the actual diaphragm dropping down and wide. Your pelvic floor matching that, down and wide on the inhales. Even the soles of your feet have little diaphragms that can drop down and wide, all on your in-breath. On the out-breath, fly up. Subtle. We're not pulling ourselves up on the out-breath. Just that sudden return to home where the pelvic floor, the diaphragm, and the soles of the feet can drink upward. Stand on the left foot. Lift that right knee up in the air. Start with your arms out to the sides. Find your breath. And then when you're ready, twist to the right, shoulders down. The breath is the center. Keep taking that standing thigh bone back. The knee is soft. Feel the root to rise. The breath is the center. Try not to breathe with your neck. Come back to center, 2 feet onto the ground. Pause. Bring your hands together at your heart or just above, wherever you're comfortable. Close your eyes, come into that third eye space again. Feel the midline. So whether it's the tongue at the back of the teeth, the attention toward the third eye, the breath originating and returning to a center point, the palms, the center of your belly, the root of your pelvis, the soles of your feet balanced left and right. There's so many touch points to feel into the center. So let's gather and breathe. We're going to stand on our right foot, lift up your left thigh, cross it over. So our left is over our right. If you need a little balance help, you can hold on or you can stick your butt against a wall to do this pose. Because our right foot is down on the ground and our left leg is on top, we're going to put our right arm on top. So oppositions. Okay, so whatever leg's on top, the opposite arm goes on top. So bring the right arm over the left, squat down, lift your chest. Still the breath is your center. Third eye, tongue behind teeth, center point of the chest, center point of the diaphragm, squeeze to the midline, hug the midline with legs and arms. And then unwind that posture, expand outward, and then release and come back to center. Same thing on the second side. If you need support, try taking your butt against something if you need support so that you can do the arms and the legs. We're standing on the left leg now. Cross your right thigh over. If you need help, be close to a wall so you can just tap if you need it. Find your breath. Because our right leg is on top, our left arm's going to go on top. Drop the shoulders, spread open the collarbones, lift the elbows a bit, squeeze to the midline. You can even take your vision, open your eyes and look at your arms so your peripheral vision broadens outward. This is a great way to experience that sense of both balancing the midline and the expanse. Touch your teeth with your tongue, feel your third eye. Squeeze. And then unwind, open the chest. Fold forward. Relax your head, melt. Inhale for a halfway lift. The spine grows. Feel the bottom of your feet. Spread out the bones. Exhale and melt. What foot do you always take back if we're going to dog pose? See if you can find the opposite foot going back first. Another way to keep the hemispheres of the brain kind of moving in unison together, balancing, is to do unusual movement patterns. Something just as simple as taking your opposite foot back than your usual pathway is a great way to light up that present moment part of your brain. Open up your breath. Enjoy this posture. This is a little tricky balance-wise, so don't get overwhelmed. We're gonna lift our right foot off the floor just a bit, doesn't have to lift high, and lift the left arm up off the floor. Relax your neck. Stay inside your breath. Your breath is your center. And then release. Hands and feet down again. Feel 4 points of contact. Enjoy your grounding. Change sides. Left leg hovers, left foot hovers, right hand hovers. It does not have to be high. What is falling apart in your pose? See what you can do to keep strength. Relax your neck. Find your breath. And then release your hand and your foot back down. Come forward into a plank. Find your sh or psst or grr. And then bring your knees down to the ground again. Arms either behind you or out in front of you. Find our cross hemisphere work, but we're gonna go faster now. So pretend you're in the Olympics and you're swimming. This is not at all how you swim, but let's just, activate our inner Olympic athletes since the Olympics are going on, and just crisscross. Try not to think so much about it. You'll probably do it easier if you're not thinking. Left, right, left, right. Keep the neck long. Feel your diaphragm. All right, and then relax. Put your head on your hands and pick up your feet and windshield wiper left to right. You might notice when you do cross hemisphere exercise like swimming or walking or running that you become more calm. When you complete an exercise like that, do you have more clarity in your mind? Is there peacefulness in your brain? Doing cross hemisphere work in the body and the limbs is one of the best things to help us organize the hemispheres of our brain. So when you're stressed about something, go for a walk. You might find the answers. You might find some space around the answers. Stretch back to child's pose when you're ready. Release your head. Find the breath. Feel the rib cage and the back body open. Breathe into them. Come up to dog pose when you're ready. Right leg lifting high. Exhale. Cross the knee to the opposite elbow. Gersh, whatever sound you want. Inhale, let's repeat it. Right leg high, cross to the left elbow. Inhale, bring it up high. Straighten on now, come into a lunge. Plant your back heel down, rise up to Virabhadrasana 1. Arms come up. Find the breath. We're gonna cross our right arm over top our left arm. Drop the shoulders. Lift the spine, look up maybe, ground your feet. Your breath is your center. Come forward, lean your body down, hop up onto that right foot and stretch your left leg back. Virabhadrasana 3 with your arms bound. Find the breath again. And then we're gonna slowly stand up on that right foot. Bring the left thigh over the right. Eagle pose again. Breathing deeply. Squeeze to the midline. Come on up again. Unwind the legs. Stretch back. We're going right back through Virabhadrasana 3. Place the back heel down. Virabhadrasana 1. Unwind the arms. Open things up. Exhale, hands down onto the ground. Step back. Relax your neck. Pause here. Feel that expansion in the breath. The diaphragm is mobile. Relax the neck and shoulders. Feel into the midline. Left leg is lifting high. What sound are you going to make when you do this? Cross the knee to the right elbow. Inhale, bring it on up. Repeat. Cross it over on the exhale. Inhale, bring it on up.
Exhale. Now we get to bring it through. Plant your foot down. Back heel comes down onto the ground. Virabhadrasana 1. Reach the arms up. Okay, and then let's cross left arm over right arm. All right, lean forward. Hop up into Virabhadrasana 3. Square your hips, engage your legs, engage your core. The neck is soft. Breathe left, right. Expand the ribs. And then when you're ready, climb up onto that foot. Bring your right knee high. Cross your right leg over left. Squatting. Squeeze to the midline. Breathe deeply. Let your bottom rib cage flare. And then unwind. Lift the knee. Stretch all the way back. Virabhadrasana 3. Find your breath. Bend your knees. Step your back heel down onto the ground. Unwind the arms and lift up. Open the breath. Release your hands. Let's turn to the side edge of your mat, wide-legged stance. Hands can be on blocks. Hands can be on the floor. Head can be on the block. Whatever feels great. Wide legs, thigh bones move back. Maybe even you want your arms to go wide. Let everything be spacious, however you land. Deep inhale, soft neck and shoulders. Relax into your exhale. One last time, spinning to the front of your mat, dog pose. Come forward into a plank. Have a couple rounds of your exhales. Make some sounds. Feel that transverse abdominis engage. Feel your breath rebound. Come down to the floor safely. For most of us, that means knees down first. Find your breath. Either arms are down at your sides, palms facing the floor, or interlace your hands for locust pose. You decide. Inhale, everything comes up. Feel the work of your diaphragm. Tone your diaphragm. Feel how your whole body moves by your breath. All right, relax and melt to come down. Come onto your back. Okay, bring your knees to your chest. Rock a little bit. Left and right. All right, so listen closely because this is another exercise for hemisphere balance, is that, when we do weird things, unexpected things. So use those mirror neurons to follow, even if you can't see me. See if you can listen and follow with my words. Okay. Inhale, lift up to bridge pose, arms overhead, both of them. Exhale, and melt back down, arms down to your sides. Inhale, pelvis, arms both come up. Left arm stays over your chest, right arm comes over your head. Exhale, join the right arm with the left, both hands come down. Inhale, pelvis up, hands to the sky. Right arm stops there, left arm lifts over your head. Join them back together and then lower them down to the ground. Pelvis up, hands to the sky. Reach your right arm out to the side. Left arm comes up over your head. Find balance in your pelvis. Hug an imaginary block between your thighs. Both arms come back up to the sky. Meet them. Switch sides. Left arm out to the side, right arm up over your head. Feel the asymmetry in the posture and the symmetry. Hug to the midline with your thighs. Breathe. And then 2 hands come back up over your chest. Lower your pelvis and your arms back down. Rest here for a moment. Take your feet wide and windshield wiper them left and right. Pause here with 2 feet on the ground. We're going to do a very full bridge pose. Perhaps you want to block underneath your pelvis. Perhaps you want to do it more actively. It's completely your choice. Lift up, get onto the tops of your shoulders. Maybe you interlace your hands underneath you. I don't choose to do it that way very often because it tends to mess with my shoulders. I like my hands, instead of backs of my hands, to press into the floor. Keep the neck neutral. Root into the 4 corners of your feet. If you're going to be on support, take it underneath your pelvis. If you're going to be on high support, make sure you have one block stacked on top of the other if you're using support instead of a skinny block. You want the support, if you're using it, to be underneath the pelvis. At any time, you can grab your block if you're doing it actively. We're going to breathe here for a few minutes, so eventually you might want the block if you've not yet. Find the tops of the shoulders. Shoulder stand kind of shoulders. Make sure your neck is neutral. We're not pushing the back of our neck into the ground. Have a slight pressure on the back of your head instead. Instead of tucking your chin toward your chest, which pushes your neck down, lift your chin and then let your heart come to your chin. Feel your diaphragm. Feel your rib cage flare. And lift the pelvis up. Get the blocks out from underneath there and lower your body back down onto the ground. Neutral. Take your feet wide, windshield wiper your knees. All right, make sure your back feels neutral. If you need a little extra care, go ahead and do whatever feels good. We're going to do just a little bit more cross hemisphere work. Before we do it, find the breath again. Open the rib cage, feel the diaphragm be mobile. And also feel that transverse abdominis, everything kind of flying in and up on that exhale. Rebounding into a lot of rib cage movement. So, we focused a little bit on this yesterday, but a lot of times when we need core stability to be maintained, not just on our exhales, we have to learn to move our diaphragm sideways instead of down. So before we lift our legs up, let's practice that for a moment. Back to that whatever sound felt most nourishing to you, integrating to you. We're going to take a deep breath, relax. Exhale, engage. Make a sound if you want to. Now hold that engagement and breathe. Let your diaphragm move even though your transverse abdominis is staying stable. Feel the ribs go sideways, this lateral movement of the rib cage to let the diaphragm have mobility. Every time you exhale, recommit to that core. All right, let's go ahead and relax everything. That's the kind of stability we're looking for. Have your arms down at your sides to begin. We're going to bring our knees up. Okay, they can be closer to our chest or right over our hips. You find the pathway that feels comfortable for your back. Arms are going to come up in the sky. Take a deep breath in. We're going to stretch our right leg long and stretch our left arm over our head. Come back. On the exhale, inhale, right arm, left leg. Just keep repeating. Now, as you do this, you need to maintain core stability even while you're exhaling. So feel into that diaphragmatic movement going sideways. Know that you're doing this cross hemisphere work. Feel into the midline. Left arm goes up overhead, right leg stretches. We're not touching the floor with arm or leg. And then return and switch sides. Hug the navel to the spine. All right, once you've done both sides evenly, relax, bring your knees to your chest, swing your knees out wide and back in. All right, stretch your body out like a starfish. Head up, knees in. Put your feet back down onto the ground. Lift your hips, scooch them to the right, knees up and drop them to the left. Take a deep breath, enjoy the twist. Turn your head in opposition to your knees. All right, pick up your knees. Relax the pelvis, scoot your hips to the other side, knees up and drop them to the right, head turns to the left. Once you're settled in your posture, breathe. Let your diaphragm move, relax your neck and shoulders. And then come on up and let's find Shavasana. So any position that feels good. You can spread your limbs kind of wide. You can have support underneath your knees or calves up on a chair. As you start to move toward the restfulness of this pose, see what you can do to discover your breathing. The neck and the shoulders are not the prime movers. The diaphragm and the ribs are the prime movers. Melt your head. Melt your shoulders. Feel a sense of ease across the base of the skull. Your neck and the base of your skull can let go.
begin to deepen our breathing again. Can you feel the freedom of your diaphragm? Can you feel the sense of deep rest in your body? Can you feel the balance in your mind and in your body? And is the state of peace in your mind and body something that you can offer toward others? Let's go ahead and find movement. Maybe start with your toes and your fingers, or turning your head from one side to another. Eventually finding your way onto your side. Come up to sit when you're ready. Once again, finding that third eye space, sense of breathing evenly through both sides of your nose, swirling breath through your sinuses evenly left and right. Sense of balance through your midline. Let's offer this peace. You can co-regulate whoever you'd like, even from afar, but especially in person. So is there someone you know who needs to be brought into a state of balance? Someone who needs to kind of be held, nurtured, supported? Place them into your mind and into your heart and breathe with them. Give them your calm. Give them your breath. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.